Hello there, this is Retro Spirits Gaiden, and this is Ghost Pilots on the NEO GEO AES by SNK. And this is the NEO GEO logo. Flipping around. This is SNK in SNK Blue. Lovely stuff. This game is for use in Japan only. It's a European game played on a Japanese hardware slab. And this is the intro. And we have an alert and a badly drawn fella with 5 frames of animation on his foot. He's only got one leg. He had his other leg blown off in a military incident involving rations. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ghost Pilots is a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up featuring a... I don't know what they're called. What are they called? Flying boat? Is it a flying boat? Is that what they're called? Which is a massive sprite on the screen, as you can see. Chunky is the word, or chonky, if you like to use chonky, I don't know. It's a massive player sprite, and it fires piddly little guns. It's 1942. This is 1942, but by SNK on a NEO GEO. This is what this game is. It's not as good as Flying Shark. It's probably on par with 1942. The thing that is irritating about this game the most, well, there's 2 things. One is there's no auto fire, which is painful on the old thumbs. The other is there's no way of shooting anything that's coming behind you. And after the first level, it loves sending enemies onto the screen from behind you. And there's just no way of dealing with them. It's really irritating. Your gun gets a little wider, but it doesn't spread in like a fan shape. So you're constantly having to move left and right across the screen. And as you can see, the playing area is bigger than the screen. So sometimes you can kind of fly into things which you didn't know were there. And enemies will shoot at you from off the borders of the screen as well, which is fairly annoying. So the gameplay's not too tight. You have bombs. You do have bombs, which helps you out in certain situations. And it's a very basic game. What it has in its favour is the visuals are very nice. It's very hand drawn, and it all looks really detailed, and just a lot of care and attention seems to be put into it, which is so lovely to see. Again, I'm not sure it's as good looking as something like Flying Shark, but it's up there. It's definitely different to 1942. 1942 was very basic. This has details up the wazoo, if you can see it's wazoo from here. And the audios, although the tunes aren't memorable, they are punchy kind of arcade tunes, and the sound effects were alright. Got some sprite scaling in here, which is lovely. It's a very, very average game, I have to say. There's very few vertically scrolling shoot 'em ups on the NEO GEO. We have the Aero Fighters games, we have ASO2, and we have Ghost Pilots. There's probably that Sikio game, the 1940... what's it called? Strikers game. That was a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up. You have things like Shock Troopers, which are a bit more character based, and Ninja Commando. Ninja Commando was a vertically scrolling shooter. The bosses in this game are particularly cheap. It's a bit annoying. When you die, you lose all of your power-ups, so you start with a piddly gun again, and on later levels that gets to be incredibly tedious. You've got limited continues. So the gameplay is not particularly fair, but it does have some nice audio visuals. So what can you say? I've got the European version of this game, and I bought my copy for around £25 English back in the early 2000s, sort of 2006, 2007 time. And as such, it's got a nice illustration on the front cover of a flying boat, the flying boat in the game. And it's kind of cool. I believe the American version has one of the most hideous front covers I've ever seen in the whole of video games land. The same as ASO2, the American version. They really screwed up the box art. I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, the European version has got the same box art as the Japanese version. And it's much nicer to look at than the American one. So for collectors, you want a good looking box, get the European or Japanese version. The box has something called a symphonic sound or something on it. It's like they're really kind of bigging up the sound in this game. Don't know why. I mean, it's all right. It's not the best, but hey. As you can see, the game is incredibly unfair. There's lots of enemy planes flying around at you very fast, and lots of bullets flying around. You're having to tap in every single one of these shots that you're firing, which makes it incredibly tough. You can't fire fast enough to deal with all the enemies. So maybe it's probably better as a two-player game. Don't know, never played it in two-player. But this background consists of 4 colours, and it's beautiful. Look at it. It looks like moss. Supposedly it's trees, I guess. Anyway, is it worth the money? Probably not these days, because it's a couple of £100. So, I mean, if you can get it for 20 quid on the NEO GEO AES, go for it. But otherwise, don't bother. Alright then. Ta-ra.